Hey everyone, it's Tuesday afternoon, coming up on 5 o'clock. We're just finished day one at the SNN MicroCap conference. Overall, great day. It was great to see everyone. There was plenty of people in the space listening to the different panels. Austin, what was your first thought?
Honestly, a lot of the themes that we keep discussing and bringing up, you're hearing it reiterated from big names, different industries, different environments, but always kind of touching on the same subjects.
Yeah, it was really good because there was definitely a theme kind of a resilience test, as we all see in the markets right now. We're going through some tough times right now. And they did touch on some of the key things. One of the things leading off the discussion was Tavi, or Octavio Costa, who's from CresCat Capital. And of course, if you're watching our show, you'll know about CresCat, Dr. Quinton Henning, Chief Geo over there. Excellent understanding of mining, and the way they explain the different formations is pretty outstanding. They had mentioned Reyna there, but of course we know CresCat, and of course through Goliath, and we've got high expectations for that stock. So he was there to talk about portfolio as a whole, and he is their kind of portfolio manager over at CresCat. And he's talking a lot about value, and also, no kidding aside, but a return to fundamental analysis, which is what we like to do, looking at real businesses compared to what the markets are. And yes, they're interchangeable in some degrees, but sometimes you have a market pricing that's way out of whack compared to what's the business actually doing. And I think we're in a period of time where people are coming back to sound businesses, and you need to look at all those aspects of who's running the business, who's supporting the business, who are the major investors. Are they there for the long term to help you grow during these tough times, or are they gone as soon as market sentiment goes and then the stock starts falling? And it's tough right now because a lot of stocks we like have even pulled back a bit, but it just has to strengthen your resolve that you're in the right company that fits a business that you want, that you have a long-term plan in. Otherwise, you're at the whim of that up and down, and that is tough.
That it is for sure. And he drew a lot of interesting parallels between, the inflation crisis back in the 70s and as well, talking about deglobalization. It was really interesting to get to hear his perspective, and obviously the perspective of a major fund like that, and the way that they're focusing on it. Another great panel that we got to listen to was actually a legal law kind of expert panel on how different rules and changing regulations are going to affect the way forward for a lot of these public companies. How different SEC regulations are going to come in, and ESG got talked about a lot. It was a key theme in that conversation, talking about how different climate-related targets or diversity-related targets for boards are going to be met by, how a company's going to handle that. How are they going to deal with it? And it's very obvious that that's going to be extremely important going forward.
It really is, and when you have, if you're asking where this comes from, the ESG, it's been around, and one of the lawyers there pointed out Canada has an incredible ESG type of track record as far as the environment and regulations in mining for 20 years. So there isn't a lot of adoption that has to happen for a lot of Canadian companies. They've sincerely been doing the right thing as far as the environment goes and working with stakeholders for quite a long time. The issue becomes a lot of this ESG that's being pushed by the World Economic Forum, Soros Fund, BlackRock, all these major banks and major money holders that, BlackRock manages money for the Fed, is that this is a political ideology as well, being shoved down the throats of people and being heavily marketed. And, not to be too controversial, but the entire woke movement is from that. So that's the negative side of where this can go, and far further. And we need to balance that kind of equity type of inequality and all these types of far left terms you hear with reality, but they're being challenged today, and usually it happens with the rise and fall of empires because of the massive inequality of incomes right now, which is there, and I wouldn't argue at all with that. But it's interesting to see a lawyer's perspective, and of course some have obvious biases that come with it. But when you look at any of these things, when it comes from a government regulation, is who is it going to benefit? And there's no such thing as, when anyone ever talks about equality, they never actually mean to make things equal. It means someone else wants more than someone else. So the push is never the idealistic push, like the far left Marxist, like we're all going to be equal, the same. It never plays out that way. And even when you see the players move in, that discussion was very clear. whose political motivations are and who has interest in certain laws being passed.
Absolutely, and I remember one of the lawyers, I wish I could remember his name right now, but made the point of saying, regardless of what you think about it, it means 50% of the population seeing an increase in wealth, and 50% of it is seeing a decrease.
Yeah.
Like you can not like that, but that's the facts of the
Yes.
situation laid in front of you. So that was really interesting to hear that, and kind of one that was awesome for me to get to sit in and really exciting was the gaming industry panel. It was kind of the future of gaming and where is this industry going. That was an awesome conversation to get to listen to. They had the CEOs of both Galaxy Gaming and Overactive Media, which is a company based out of Toronto. Two different angles of things. Galaxy do sports betting and iGaming, so it's essentially everything you can do here in the casinos: blackjack, roulette, poker, online, digitally. They've got virtual dealers set up on like a webcam, almost Zoom type thing.
Yeah.
That you can gamble in real time, winning money in real time. And then the flip side of that was Overactive Media do esports, and that's one of the main focuses, but they also made the keynote of saying that's only part of the business. They have an entertainment side as well that they look at, where they're actually building a facility in Toronto to host not just gaming events, but concerts and other things as well. So really interesting to get to see the trajectory from both sides of the gaming industry on where they think it's going.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the last thing that I was left with that I hadn't really thought of, and we always like looking at unique niche spaces, and this certainly isn't one, but one comment was only 3% of GDP is being spent on defense in the US right now.
Yeah.
And this portfolio manager was saying they would expect that to rise to double to about 6%. Mm-hmm. Now, you can see there's a lot of posturing and pitching for war, because of Ukraine. So I'm hesitant to ever tell people to go look at Raytheon or defense stocks, really, because you're kind of hoping for war.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think if you're, what do you call it, market agnostic,
Yeah.
you know what? Defense might be something to look at.
I
Not
think
something we're going to cover.
Absolutely. Well, I think the word he used was double on that GDP number.
Yes.
So 3% to 6%.
6%.
That's a huge jump.
That's going to be a big jump, and when you're looking at, General Electric is a big defense contractor. Of course, Raytheon.
Yeah.
There's a number of companies that are big names in that space. You may not see it today,
Yeah.
but that's an interesting one that we're not going to talk a lot about, but definitely was one where I thought, yeah, that's a good point being made. So
absolutely, really interesting first day. Great content. Really getting to listen to these conversations. Couple more days ahead that are going to be awesome as well. We're going to have some more updates on the message board as well. So if you're a subscriber, or if you're not a subscriber, make sure you get over there, sign up for it so you can see some of that premium content. We'll have some updates there. Some more stuff that we haven't been able to get the time to touch on yet, but really, really interesting stuff. Really great time so far.
for sure. And as you can see, we haven't worked on our tan enough yet, so we're going to go hit the pool.
Absolutely. Okay, take care, everyone. We'll update you again soon.